Morning everyone, welcome back to the farm. Let's go do some chores. Finding duck eggs all over the yard lately. We knew they've been laying for about a month. We've been finding eggs here and there, but now we're finding them pretty frequently. You're upset about something. Been finding them pretty frequently now though, so it's time to build them a duck house. Up until now, they've just been sleeping under the chicken coop, which is a fine place for them. They were protected from the limited cold we've had so far. But going forward, they're gonna need their own spot, so we're gonna have to build that for them soon. So it's fall here on the homestead, which means a lot of small projects going on that take up a lot of time. Among them, clearing out the garden is going to be one of them. We've got most of this done already. It's just a little bit of the fall crops left. We got cabbage over there. I got Swiss chard, kale, and then cauliflower behind me. But the other things we need to be doing, there are some big projects thrown in there. We just processed all of our chickens for the fall. I'll link that video up in the corner. That was about 2 weeks ago. Pig processing is coming up in November, so that'll be the second week in November. We're gonna be doing that. But there's also just a lot of small projects that we need to be doing on the homestead. Namely just kind of cleaning things up after other projects are over. The chickens are done, so we needed to clean up the fence in the front yard, clean up the chicken tractors that we were using out there, and just get kind of things straightened away. So Jackie and I did that the other day. Fall for us also means it's time to get the pigs onto their last pasture of the year. In fall time, there's a lot of goodies in the woods for them to eat, beech nuts, acorns, all sorts of other things. So we put them out onto their final pasture for the last month. That was my main goal this past weekend as far as chores that I had to do. So I filmed a bunch of it and I'll put that video in right here so you can watch and kind of see what that's all about and what it's like setting up fence for our pigs. If you ever owned a farm or worked on a farm or ever spent time setting fence, you know that it's not necessarily a fun process. It's one of those things where you're working hard, you're hammering T-posts, you're setting lines, you're clearing brush. It's kind of all the things you hate about doing on a homestead in one. But when I woke up this morning, it was probably around 28 degrees. We definitely had a hard frost, and I knew that where the pigs are now, being super wet, it's not a good spot for them. We want to get those pigs dry. We want to give them an area where they're not necessarily going to get cold and develop any illnesses or pneumonias or things like that. So let me take you out back and I'll show you kind of what we're working with right now in the pig pen and where I'm thinking we're going to go with it. So this is what we're working with right now in the pig pen. You can see it's pretty muddy. The water barrel is perched up high, but you can see that pig is standing basically up to his knees in water. They had wallered that out a little bit and turned it into a wallow, so it wasn't like this all summer. You see, what happened is we've been in the middle of a drought all summer up here, and this whole area was originally bushes and shrubs. It was all blueberry bushes, and this wasn't really wet and muddy at all. And then as the summer went on, because of the drought, it never really got muddy. It stayed fairly dry, and there was a lot of brush that they could still kind of paw through and eat and chew up and root around, and there was all sorts of good stuff for them in there. They were super psyched. And then what ended up happening was we got like 5 inches of rain in a week and a half. We had one storm come through, it dropped like 2 inches. Then we had another storm come through and it dropped like 3 inches over the course of like 24 or 48 hours. And the problem is the ground was so dry that it wasn't able to absorb all that rain into it. So we're still in the middle of a drought. The water tables are still extremely low. It's not an issue for us because our well is good. We're not worried about running out of water, knock on wood. But it turned the pasture that we had the pigs on into a slop fest, as you can see behind me. It's perfect timing though, because all those other goodies are in the woods, and we're gonna get the pigs out there and we're gonna get them eating them today. I'm gonna head over to the truck. I'm gonna get some T-posts and plastic stakes that I grabbed this morning, and we're gonna bring them out and we're just gonna get started on this. If there's any entrepreneuring farm companies out there that want to make a buck, pad for carrying T-post over your shoulders would work, because this flannel's okay, but there's got to be a better way. So here's the back corner of the pig pen right now, kind of right here. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to run it straight to where I'm standing, off that corner, and then head up this way. You can see there's kind of a natural break in the trees that kind of curves off. These acorns are all over the place. Getting the pigs out here and onto that natural forage is what makes our pork different than a lot of what you're gonna find in the store. You know, our pigs they're rooting around, they're finding natural forage, they're not eating grain byproducts their whole life, they're eating wild nuts and full fat nuts and things like that that, you know, are really kind of making a better product in the long run. That's what pigs were designed to eat, kind of in the natural world. So that's why we like doing it. Now that we got this first post in behind me, we can string the rest of them up. So the goal when you're running a fence through the woods like this is to use the most direct routes you can. You're gonna use the T-post to do straight runs, and then if you need a little bit of wobble in between, you can use the plastic post for that. If you have a hard corner, that's where you're gonna put your T-posts. So the T-posts are basically gonna be points in your pasture, and you're gonna run the fence as straight as you can in between them, and then if you need to kind of meander in and out between a tree or something like that, you're gonna, that's what your plastic posts are for. So I didn't show you a lot about how I set the fence up in this video, because I've done that in previous videos. I'll actually link them up here in the corner. But everything's set up right now. We are going to do a final check. We'll walk around this all one last time and make sure it's good to go. And then we'll get the pigs out here into it. So it's a couple hours later, and as you can see behind me, the pigs have still not ventured into the new area, which is over that way. So as you can see on the ground behind me, I have literally dumped a bucket of apples here for the pigs, and they still will not breach the entrance to this area, which is like right back there. Pigs are super smart, and they remember that there used to be an electric fence there and they don't want to cross it because they're afraid they'll get shocked. So really the trick is just to take your time, let the pigs figure it out, and eventually they'll come over and they'll find the apples, and then they'll get into all this awesome wood that's behind me, because really there's tons of delicious acorns out there, and if the pigs knew what was over there, they'd be over there in a second. As you can see, they weren't very interested in crossing over the old fence line in that last video, so let's see if we can't head out there now. It's a couple days later, and we'll tempt them with some treats. Come on. As you can see behind me, they're out and about and no longer fearful of the fence line. It did take them a couple days. It's actually 4 days after I opened up this area for them and let them out, and they haven't really gone over there. I've been feeding them over here and, you know, putting snacks on this side, and they haven't gone for it until actually this morning. So they're pretty hungry at this point. You can see there's actually one that crossed over last night. He's been over here kind of milling about and eating acorns since last night. So that one did cross over earlier than the others. He was kind of the smarter one, but these guys, they were all super scared, and I mean super scared, super smart. They didn't want to go across the old electric fence line, so they knew what was going on. Pigs are super smart. I'm not a mind reader, but I'd say these pigs are pretty happy right now. If you want to buy pork from us, either in wholes or half shares, I regret to inform you that we're currently sold out for the year. However, if you head over to our website, mindfulhomestead.com, you can sign up for the email list, and we let our email subscribers know first when pork shares become available in the spring, usually around tail end of March, middle of April, somewhere there. That's going to do it for the video today, folks. Thanks for watching, and have a great day. Bye.